Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back from holiday break. Again, this is our first week back, so I know it's going to take a little bit of time to get in the groove of things, but we start really quickly. We got an exam our first week back. Exam one, of course, lessons 1 through 6. We want to make sure that we're ready to go for this exam. It's going to be great. I think you guys are going to do a really good job, so I'm looking forward to having this exam ready to go for you guys, and something that you really have practiced and gotten ready for. Now, I want to mention with this exam or any exam in this class, you're going to have Lockdown Browser. So Lockdown Browser is a program that you have to download to your computer, or you can do it from, of course, one of the lab computers if you're interested, but it just makes sure that you don't have another program up at the same time that you're trying to, of course, take the test, so there's no cheating. However, you can have your book open. That's totally fine. It is an open book exam, so that's not a big deal. So just make sure that you don't have another browser up at the same time and another, of course, tab open at the same time when you're taking your test, because Lockdown Browser won't allow you to do that. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. All right, 1 second. Let's head over to the exam. Course content, you'll see, and this is going to be a little bit different than your view, so let me make sure that's the same. So you'll see the exam located here. It'll say exam 1 requires Lockdown Browser. What you have to do is take these instructions right here, download and install Lockdown Browser, and it will walk you through how to get that done. There is a password to the exam. It's RAD 2026. You got to have it in all caps. Of course, it's not, of course, and I'll fix this. It's not going to be in bold, but make sure that you have that ready to go. Of course, the exam is going to be multiple choice, true or false, and short answer, and a few essay questions, but I'm going to go over that as a study guide here in a minute. But make sure that you download Lockdown Browser. If you have any trouble with that, you can reach out to me or the IT department. We can work together to make sure that you're ready to go there. But remember, your password is RAD 2026. You cannot take the exam without Lockdown Browser installed on your computer. It's a requirement. All right, let's do a quick study guide for the exam. It'll take about 2 minutes and get you ready for getting a great grade. So the exam, make sure that you understand the principle of ethical theory. What is the principle of ethical theory of utilitarianism? And I pronounced that wrong. A little bit challenging there, but make sure you know what that is. What is HIPAA? What is HIPAA and what does it stand for? What does HIPAA stand for? So there's some questions in regard to RadTech exams, just making sure that you check, of course, with the physician before doing the exam, or check with the order. So make sure you understand the implications of understanding orders before you perform an exam. What about patient consent? Make sure you understand what patient consent is. What about, let's talk a little bit about duty-based ethics. Know what duty-based ethics, justice-based ethics are, and rights-based ethics for that matter. What about civil lawsuits? What are civil lawsuits and criminal lawsuits? Civil and criminal law. How about the Joint Commission? We talked a little bit about the Joint Commission in a few videos. Know what the Joint Commission is and what it does. What is the doctrine of informed consent? Know about the doctrine of informed consent. What is autonomy? Make sure you know what autonomy is. Kind of like autonomy, non-malfeasance, beneficence, paternalism, all that kind of stuff. What are statutes? What are statutes? So you need to know about the judicial branch of the government, right? Make sure you understand judicial, all the branches of the government, executive branch, the judicial branch, and of course the just legislative branch. All right, make sure you understand those. What about the doctrine of respondeat superior? Know what that is? There's 40 questions here in total, so making sure that you guys get a broad overview of what you need to know. What is standard of care? What does that mean? Standard of care. All right. Make sure you understand constitutional law, tort law, contract law, and administrative law. All right, we talked about the Joint Commission already. A few questions on that. Talked about branches of government. There's some questions on that. What is an agent? Durable power of attorney and agent. How do those correspond? Know about negligence. We talked about that already, but there's a couple of questions in here about negligence. All right. True or false questions, I'm not going to go over those. I think you guys have a broad understanding there. It won't be too challenging. Know what a living will is. What is a living will? Implied consent. What is implied consent and what does that refer to? How about a little bit more in regards to, how about Good Samaritan laws? What is a Good Samaritan law? Non-malfeasance, we talked about that. And then your two big essay questions are going to be, pretty easy for you, I think, to understand. It's going to have to do with negligence and HIPAA violations. So that's a little bit about our exam coming up. 40 total questions, multiple choice, true or false, and 2 essays. As a reminder, make sure, of course, you have the information in regards to exam 1 ready to go. You want to download Lockdown Browser. You want to have your password ready, RAD 2026 in all caps, not bold. I'll fix that. And then you should be all set. Make sure you review the check-in video, of course, to make sure, which, of course, if you listen to this, you already have. You have studied properly and you have the study guide ready. And you should be all set. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm looking forward to seeing great grades. I know you guys are going to do a great job. And if you need anything from me, don't hesitate to reach out in the meantime. Welcome back from the holiday. I look forward to seeing great grades in this exam. Thanks so much.